Still, damn sight better than the winter. What do you think, mister? What do you think's worse? Endless day or never-ending night?
It would depend on your state of mind, I suppose. In the day, the light can consume your thoughts. In the night, thoughts can consume you.
Take the CP rail to Hamilton immediately. Don't stay on the train any longer, or they will catch you.
Why are you doing this?
It's one mistake I can set right.
A murderer!
And exactly how long does your detective Murdoch intend to continue his leave of absence?
I don't know.
And you consider George Crabtree to be an adequate replacement?
Crabtree's a determined chap.
Yes, and an honest one. It's quite a rarity for this station.
Detective Murdoch was cleared of any wrongdoing, Chief Constable.
Oh, yes, of course. A faulty lock enabled the escape of both Detective Murdoch and Constance Gardner.
That's my report, and I stand by it.
Yes, well, still, nevertheless, the two of them did make the choice to walk away from confinement.
Detective Murdoch did so to apprehend the murderess.
Whom he then proceeded to let go free.
That is merely speculation, sir. I believe Miss Gardner made that choice on her own. A view also held by both our superiors.
Yes, well, let me remind you, Inspector Brackenreed, that I am now your superior, and I find your recollection of events to be highly suspect.
Who found the body?
One of the poor souls that works in this area, a lady of the night.
And the victim?
No trace of identification, but quite well dressed for this area, I would say. Likely not a habituate.
Unless he'd stolen another man's clothes. Well, on first impression, the cause of death seems plain enough.
Yes, that it does.
I'm Dr. Emily Grace. I'm with the coroner's office.
Dr. Grace, Dr. Ogden. We could have met at my office. There was no need.
I know, and I apologize. But a fresh corpse in a crime scene, what more could one ask for?
No corpse at all, I suppose.
Of course, sir. But it appears we have little choice in that. Nor does he.
Ma'am, you can't disrupt the integrity of the scene.
George, this is Dr. Emily Grace. She's a new employee of the coroner's office working under my direction.
Ah.
Pleasure to make your acquaintance, Mr.
Crabtree. Detective George Crabtree. Acting detective, I should say.
So, let's get to work. Detective?
Dearest William, I have learned of the marriage proposal you intended to make to me. If your feelings are the same, you must let me know before I say my vows.
Sir, Julia's wedding. Did she seem happy?
Of course she did. It was a bloody wedding day. Now get out. I'll try and put this right.
Good scrub.
Once you're presentable, you should pay a visit. She makes a month on the creek feel worth it. She's been in Far East, that one. She knows things.
Congratulations. Almost $200.
That's almost half of what I made in a year back in my old life. Morning. Like a room, please?
Your lucky day. You have your choice.
Oh, my old one then. 24?
24 it is.
I wonder if I could have a word with Mrs. Bryant.
Well, you certainly can.
Find her upstairs?
Hardly. She's at Fort Herkimer. The Mounties have charged her with murder.
What?
Bashed Caitlin Field's head in with a pickaxe. They found Miss Bryant ranting and raving, covered in blood.
I'll be taking breakfast as well.
The bullet entered the right ventricle, perforated the aorta, and then lodged in the man's spine. I imagine death was instantaneous.
From which direction do you think his assailant approached?
Don't we concentrate on the cause of death and not the circumstance?
From which direction?
Given the bullet's path, the person who shot this man approached him from the right side.
And do you notice anything else unusual? The man's hands. They're soft and calloused. No dirt under the fingernails. He's also clean-shaven. He doesn't seem like a man who'd live there.
Would I include this in my report?
Sometimes I think it best to provide our detectives with clues. They're not always as thorough as they should be.
Detective Crabtree?
George Crabtree is a fine detective, but try as he may, he's no William Murdoch.
I'm still something of a novice in the practice of culinary arts.
It's quite all right. I left some of my belongings behind. I wonder if I could have them sent up to my room.
Do you know where they are?
Left them with Mrs. Bryant.
Then you'll need to ask her. I can't keep track of everything. You know, running this establishment on my own, it's a full-time operation.
Fort Herkimer, you said?
You're our first visitor.
Mr. Murdoch, a pleasure.
Mrs. Bryant?
I'd invite you in for tea or something stronger, but I find myself ill-equipped. Just to assure you, I'm not a murderer.
Do you have any kind of legal representation?
I'm innocent.
Just the same, it would be wise.
Mr. Harris left for Skagway months ago.
You're all alone?
Yes, but you came to see me for a reason. How can I help you?
I'm having trouble locating my valise.
I put it away for safekeeping. It's under the bed in my room. Don't worry, I didn't disturb its contents. Mr. Murdoch, if there is any way you can help me, I would really appreciate it.
I really don't know how I could. I'm sorry. Seems strange. What drove Miss Bryant to such ends?
What drove her was Kate Linfield. The two hated each other with a fury that only women can possess. Elizabeth thought Kate was stealing her business. They've been arguing on and off for a couple of weeks.
You! What the devil are you doing in here? You're not welcome. You know what I wonder? Why would a respected gentleman lay his head here? I suspect he's getting special favors. There's not much beneath you, is there? Stay away from me. Stay away from me! Do you hear me? I do not want to see it on your face.
Later that evening, they found Kate Linfield dead, the murder weapon in Mrs. Bryant's hands.
Motive means an opportunity.
Excuse me?
When did this happen?
5 days ago. Isaac McKay saw it with his own eyes.
Have they buried Miss Linfield yet?
Why?
I wondered if I could examine the body.
You're a bit of an odd duck, aren't you? What's your business in this?
I'm acquainted with Mrs. Bryant.
As I was with Kate Linfield. And I'm more than a little disturbed by your interest in her corpse.
Noted.
I'll tell you when this conversation is concluded.
He's making it a fair fight.
Enough! Stand down, all of you. The stranger swung first, Sam.
Mr. Murdoch, you've had a change of heart. Oh.
Get in there, Jack.
I see. You don't look much worse for wear.
Curious how a few questions could start a bar fight.
It's a tight community. They don't always take well to outsiders.
Even still, you were all outsiders before the gold rush.
Once you become a sourdough, you form a bond. You need to make it through a winter to belong.
You're an educated man, aren't you? I'm a keen observer of human behavior. And the manner and type of questions you're asking in the bar suggest some form of training, perhaps a policeman or a lawyer. Am I right?
I worked for the police force as a detective.
A detective? I took you in when you arrived here. Treated you kindly.
Yes, you did.
I told you I was innocent, but you won't help me. Why?
It's not what I do anymore.
So you'd let me rot in here because you found a new line of work?
You two promised to behave yourselves.
Within reason?
Well, you're free to go then.
You're right. You're not a policeman. You're nothing.
So why are you here?
Seeking my fortune, same as everyone else.
A little late to the party then, sir. The gold rush is over.
My claim seems to be panning out.
And you're the lucky one. Most people have abandoned their claims, given up, and gone home. You know, they used to call this place the Paris of North America. Look at it now. Nothing but ghosts and desperate men.
Well, I am neither.
Oh, good for you. Whatever you're searching for, perhaps you'll find it here, but I wouldn't hold out much hope.
Sir, the single-shot Eclipse pistol is a very effective weapon at close range. Unfortunately, it's also very common, so we're having some trouble tracing the ownership.
I am confident, though, sir, that if I follow the trail of evidence, then we will indeed find the assailant.
What was the name of the poor bugger that was killed?
Well, actually, I have Higgins looking into that right now.
Oh, do you know?
Well, not right now, sir. He said he had something else to attend to first.
Are you taking your orders from Higgins now?
No.
You are in charge of this investigation, aren't you?
Yes, sir.
Well, then take the lead. Get Higgins off his arse and get him to do something.
Right away, sir. Higgins, let's get to finding out the identity of the victim, hmm?
In a moment, George. I'm still processing papers.
Higgins, shift it! See how easy that was, Detective Crabtree?
A detective? I took you in. I'm innocent. You're right. You're not a policeman. You're nothing!
Didn't take you for a swell.
I trust this is enough to ensure Mrs. Bryant's release.
You are not to leave the area.
I have no intention.
Mr. Murdoch, I hold you responsible for her actions.
I'm well aware of my obligations. Now, at your convenience, I would like to have a closer look at the murder weapon.
In what capacity?
I'll be representing Mrs. Bryant.
Well, I'll consider your request.
I'm aware of the Northwest Mounted Police fine reputation. I imagine you wouldn't want to put an innocent woman at the end of a noose.
Tell me, what was your association with the deceased?
Mr. Murdoch, can I ask you a question? Do you believe I murdered Kate?
Please just tell me what happened.
I need to know. When you look at me, do you see a killer?
I've seen my share, and their appearance seldom betrays their deeds. What were the circumstances of your arrest?
She stole something of mine. My husband's pocket watch. He died on the Chocolate Pass, never made it here. That watch was my only connection that I had to him.
Please, just tell me what happened.
Once Arlen told me she had the watch, I went straight to her hotel. That's where I found her.
Your finger marks were on the murder weapon.
The pickaxe. I picked it up. It was lying beside her.
Why?
I don't know why. It just seemed filthy beside her. There was a time when we were good friends. When I saw her lying there, that was all I could remember.
And that's when Isaac McKay saw you.
Holding the weapon. I tried to explain what had happened, but I was covered in blood. Must have looked like a mad woman. I didn't do it, Mr. Murdoch. I swear.
Does your detachment come equipped with any magnifying device? A microscope, perhaps?
I can't say we have one.
May I?
You were a lawman once.
Mr. Steele, please note that I am taking a sample of the deposit encrusted on the edge of the pickaxe.
Duly noted.
Mr. McKay, I hope my questions won't provoke a reaction like they did yesterday.
As long as you remain civil.
Why would Mrs. Bryant kill Kate Linfield?
It's no secret. Kate Linfield was slowly driving Mrs. Bryant out of business.
But that would be a Pyrrhic victory at best. From all accounts, the gold rush is over.
There will always be people pursuing a dream, no matter how foolhardy. And they'll need places to stay.
And are you one of those fools, Mr. McKay?
There's still plenty of money to be made mining the miners for the next few years.
Could you clarify that?
When the rush was on, that was this city's largest source of income. Taking gold from the man who took it from the creeks. Dance hall girls, $5 haircuts, and $7 steaks. After a month in the bush, they were happy to pay.
Thank you.
And you, Mr. Murdoch, I imagine you'll be leaving soon as well?
And what's that you're doing?
Looking for suspects.
Ah, among inanimate objects.
Should I be considering you one?
If you want to be wrong-headed. I was in Skagway at the time of the murder. If you want confirmation, contact Diamond Lil. She runs a bordello. We have a casual friendship. So, what are you looking for?
I noticed unusually high levels of arsenopyrite in this part of the creek. Murder weapon was covered in it.
So whoever killed Kate was familiar with this place?
It's a theory.
Well, this is hard luck Thompson's stake. The stubborn bugger worked this claim for years before he went bust.
Any idea where I might be able to find him?
I haven't seen him around.
What can you tell me about him?
You can't turn your back on policing, can you?
Please.
He was once close to Kate.
Once?
Or they came out here 2 years ago together. She quit him and started at the hotel.
Oh. Seems my inanimate object may have uncovered a suspect. Did you ever see Miss Linfield in the company of a hard luck Thompson?
No, but I heard they were once very much in love.
In my profession, I've seen what can happen when that emotion sours.
Only in your profession?
I, too, have suffered loss.
So that's why you're here.
George? Higgins. I discovered the identity of the dead man. His name was January Billings.
January?
He was reported missing from his place of work. A coworker identified the body.
Has the wife been notified?
She's here now, actually.
What? No, Higgins, not right. Mrs. Billings.
The constable said that you wanted to see me?
Yes, please. Have a seat.
What is this about?
There's no easy way to tell you this, Mrs. Billings. Your husband has been murdered.
Murdered? No, that can't be.
No, I assure you, he's quite dead. I'm sorry. It's going to be all right.
All right? How in heaven's name could it be?
Well, no, all right is not the right... we have arranged for the body to be... your husband, late husband.
I have to go.
Mrs. Billings, if there's anything I can do...
You can find out who shot him. That's what you can do.
Shot him?
Thank you for showing me around.
Everyone in town is convinced Elizabeth Bryant did it. I take it you're not.
Circumstance and speculation will never trump fact.
So what are we looking for out here?
Hard luck Thompson. It's strange if those two were once together that he's taken no interest in her murder.
Well, perhaps he didn't care. Perhaps he's off to another creek hoping his luck will finally change.
Possibly. Thompson? Mr. Thompson? Hello? Hello?
Quiet, quiet. Ravens. Nothing but scavengers.
Something around here is dead.
Something. Or someone.
Over here. Is this Mr. Thompson then?
A little worse for wear, but him indeed.
Well then, at least we know it wasn't him that killed Miss Linfield.
How's that?
Miss Linfield was killed a week ago. Judging by his condition, Mr. Thompson has been dead for over 2. There is a silver lining of sorts. It's possible that the same person killed Kate Linfield and Hard Luck Thompson.
Well, why do you say that?
Well, they were both killed in the same manner. A blow to the head with a miner's pickaxe. And I found traces of a mineral both in Hard Luck Thompson's wound and on the pickaxe that killed Kate Linfield. Do you know of anyone that may have held a grudge against the two of them?
None, I'm afraid.
Why have you stayed? We both know the gold rush is over.
This place, my hotel, it's all I have. I fought hard for it. I do not intend to give it up.
But if there are no customers?
There'll always be some. Enough to get by.
You're still a young woman.
I buried my husband here. And while I don't fancy joining him, I'm not ready to leave yet.
Thank you for taking the time to see me.
You never think it, but there's really so much to do to prepare for a funeral.
I don't mean to upset you, but do you know why a man of your husband's station would be in such a rough area?
I'm not sure I could guess what my husband was up to. We'd grown somewhat apart over the years.
Mrs. Billings, something has been bothering me. When I told you that your husband had been killed, you said he was shot. How did you know that?
I saw the coroner's report on your desk. Now, if you'll excuse me. Yes. I thought it was over and done with. No, I'll be there. Yes. I'm sorry, but as I said, I don't know what my husband was doing down there.
Well, thanks for your time.
And Detective Crabtree, I'll have you know, I resent your veiled accusations.
I thank you for this, sir.
Superintendent Steele said I was to cooperate.
Tell me, you handle all of the registered gold claims in the area, do you not?
I do.
How many people are holding on to their claims?
Not many.
So there are very few active miners at the moment?
That's correct. You were the luckiest one this week.
Mr. Thompson's claim, it was active until the time of his death?
It was, God rest his soul.
Tell me, this other signature on Hard Luck's claim, Catherine Thompson, who is that?
Kate Linfield. They were once married. They held the claim jointly, but she took no interest in it.
So Hard Luck's claim could never be sold as long as Kate Linfield was still alive. Who else still holds claims on Bonanza Creek?
Isaac McKay.
I believe these constitute motive for murder.
Hardly. Without gold, these are worthless.
Isaac McKay tried to buy Thompson's claims, but couldn't, because they were being held by Kate Linfield.
So you think he murdered her for the claims?
Yes, with both Miss Linfield and Thompson dead, their claims would go back on the open market and into McKay's hands.
Well, I suppose, but why, Mr. Murdoch? The gold rush is over.
Mrs. Billings received a telephone call about 5:15 this afternoon. Higgins, I need you to find that number from the Toronto Telephone Exchange. That way we can reference the number against the reverse directory, and we can ascertain where the call came from. Higgins, phone exchange, now.
I heard McKay tried to buy out Thompson's claim at the mouth of the creek, but Hard Luck refused.
Most of these streams are panned out. Why would McKay want it?
Hope. For some, being here is better than the alternative. Sound familiar?
I'm just trying to make my own fortune, Jack. There's no sin in that.
So answer me. How did a detective like yourself end up mining for scraps in the Klondike? I'll never tell a soul.
I made a mistake. I compromised what I believed in.
Is it a choice you would make again?
I did what I thought was right.
Would you do it again?
It cost me.
It's our mistakes that define us.
The name of the person who called Mr. Billings is Terrence Murdoch.
Thank you, Henry. Bring them in for questioning.
You know, George, we used to have conversations, and now all you do is order me around.
That's because I'm your superior now, Higgins, so just do what I say.
Certainly, Detective.
Crabtree,
Sir.
the old man did a good job for you there. Little honey with the vinegar, don't you think?
I've learned from the postmaster that Mr. McKay has had a long correspondence with the California mining concern.
Ah, California. That's where I'm from.
Fascinating. The California mining concern is a Santa Ana dredging company. Is it becoming clear to you now?
Well, it's certainly not to me.
McKay's a sly one.
Would you mind telling me what you're talking about?
The California gold rush didn't end when the prospectors left, it began. Are you familiar with dredging?
Yes.
And those machines could move more earth than an army of men.
Yes, but to bring those machines here, the cost would be enormous.
As with the reward.
But to stage a dredging operation on the Bonanza.
On the claim once held by Hardluck.
And Kate Linfield.
So McKay would be the one to profit if Kate and Hardluck's claims went back into circulation?
Suggesting motive, yes.
Bastard. He killed Kate and he pinned it on me.
Mrs. Bryant, please, let me handle this.
Dr. Ogden, do you have plans for the evening? If you're free, I would be delighted if you would join me. There's a group of women who meet at a private club on Church Street.
Oh, I have to accompany my husband to a dinner this evening.
I see. Well, I hope you can come sometime. You are something of an inspiration to us.
Well, thank you. Isaac, you have to tell the truth. You killed her.
You're the one with blood on your hands, not me.
Is it because she wouldn't sell to you?
Talking madness, woman.
You murdered the two of them.
Elizabeth, I told you to let me handle this. Mr. McKay, get out of here.
I saw what I saw,
Go.
sir.
I didn't do it. I'm innocent!
Then trust the law. Not this. Her name is Constance. She took the law into her own hands. I let her go free. Well, not truly free. She'll be on the run the rest of her life.
It's better than death.
Perhaps, but what I did was wrong. If you are innocent, then you must let the law make that determination, not me.
That's easy for you to say, Mr. Murdoch. Your neck's not destined for the noose.
Mrs. Bryant?
I've asked Superintendent Steele to return you to custody.
You bastard.
It's in your best interest, Mrs. Bryant. If you are innocent of this crime, you will not hang. You have my word. You're in an enviable position, Mr. McKay. The land you need to begin your dredging operation is now yours for the taking. And all it cost was a mere 2 lives.
Which I had nothing to do with.
Tell me, how is it you had occasion to be in Miss Linfield's hotel room at such a convenient time?
I was worried for her safety.
Are you her sworn protector?
Hardly. I was in the saloon when Arlen came in from across the street. Told Elizabeth he'd seen Kate with her husband's watch. She ran out of here faster than a scalded cat.
And you followed her?
Not right away. For once, Arlen pulled out the good scotch. I just had my first sip when I realized I should make sure Kate came to no harm.
But you were too late. Mr. McKay, who else stands to gain if you were to go ahead with your operation?
All of us. Shops, saloons, hotels. The best and worst of us will all profit when the miners return.
Of course.
Mrs. Billings. I had a conversation with Mr. Terence Novak. I believe you know him.
I'm not sure.
The man you hired to kill your husband. How could you not?
I did no such thing.
That's not what Mr. Novak says.
And you're taking his word against mine?
Why shouldn't I? Upon searching his premises, we found several bank drafts written to him in your name for services rendered. How could you do such a thing? What did your husband do to deserve this?
While I was running around? At first it was our secret, but he became less and less discreet. All my friends knew. He disgraced me.
Come with me.
Any luck regarding Mrs. Bryant?
None, I'm afraid. May I take a glass of cold water, please? I imagine you came out here to prospect as well, eh, Mr. Pike?
That I did, but I can't say I had much luck.
You seem to be doing all right now.
I'm not sure I understand.
I was noticing your bar. All the nicks and grooves. I imagine you collect your fair share of stray gold dust.
Oh, I resent the implication.
Oh, it's just another way to mine the miners, I suppose. When this town was booming,
This hotel must have done quite well.
Busy every night.
No doubt you're aware of Mr. McKay's plans. An operation like that would bring in hundreds of men, all looking for a place to stay, blow off some steam. All of it held in abeyance by Hard Luck Thompson and Kate Linfield's refusal to sell a useless piece of land. Of course, they're both dead now. Mr. Pike, do you have the time? All of this daylight, it's impossible to tell.
It's 11:30 in the evening.
Oh, that is a handsome watch. May I see it? Oh, it's a shame I don't have some of my tools with me. Otherwise, I'd be able to raise the inscription here on the back. You see? It's been filed off.
It's not necessary.
It was a watch, wasn't it? The item you told Mrs. Bryant Kate Linfield stole. A man's pocket watch. You're very clever. By killing Miss Linfield and pinning it on Mrs. Bryant, you accomplished two things. You allowed Mr. McKay to go ahead with his dredging operation and put yourself in the position of being the only hotelier in town.
I wish I was that clever. I was tending bar the night Elizabeth killed Kate.
No, you weren't. You were arguing with Kate. You knew she and Hardluck were married. You knew Hardluck wouldn't sell to McKay, so you killed him. You didn't expect his wife shared the same stubborn streak. And then no one held claim to the land McKay needed. You tell Elizabeth Bryant that Kate has taken her dead husband's watch. She goes to confront her. You stopped McKay from following her right away with a bottle of your best scotch. But McKay is a decent man, and he worried for Miss Linfield's safety. He wouldn't stay put. He arrived in time to find Elizabeth Bryant standing over a dead Kate Linfield. One hotel owner dead, the other accused of murder. Do you own a pickaxe, Mr. Pike?
Lost it.
Oh, then you'll be relieved to know that it's been found. By Elizabeth Bryant. Right beside Kate Linfield's body.
All speculation. Wild theories.
I'll be examining that pocket watch, Mr. Pike. And when I do, I believe I will indeed discover that it belonged to Mrs. Bryant's late husband. What do you think?
Good thing you ended up here. I owe you my freedom. But you're leaving, aren't you?
I have business to tend to.
Does it involve her, the woman who hurt you?
That part of my life is over.
You'll find another. Is that what you believe? One chance at love. So when my husband died, it was all over for me. Please don't tell me that's true.
You'll find someone.
Not sure I want to. But if you were compelled to stay around, then that is your loss, Mr. Murdoch. Shame. Would have been nice to have someone to keep me warm during the coming months.
I don't think I could take the winter.
Softy, are you? I'd have you know I've 2 under my belt already.
They say the third's the hardest.
And the spring will be even more glorious. Goodbye, Mr. Murdoch.
Goodbye, Mrs. Bryant.
How could a woman hire somebody to kill her husband?
There are many hidden things in a marriage, especially a dishonest one.
A dishonest one?
Obviously, he had desires his wife could not meet, and she was foolish enough to settle. The result is inevitable. The result of a passionless marriage. You don't agree?
Passion need not be the bedrock of marriage. There can be love and mutual respect without schoolgirl sentiment. Well, good evening.
Good evening.
Doctor.
So what do you think, Detective Crabtree? You have a keen mind. Is Dr. Ogden talking about Mrs. Billings' marriage?
I need to be back where I belong.
I assumed that would be the case. So, you'll need this then. I fished it out of the creek a day or two ago.
I'll wear it once again once I've earned it.
You saved Mrs. Bryant from the noose.
I suppose that's a start. You said something about your mistakes defining you. I believe it's what you do to right them that does. When did I become so philosophical? Must be the mountain air.
Will you be back?
I don't know. If I feel the call of the wild once again. You've been of great assistance to me. I never did get your surname.
It's London. Jack London. And what's that you said? The call of the...
Call of the wild.
It's a nice turn of phrase.
Higgins? Hodge? Good to see you. Man, how is everyone? Worsley? Winton?
Sir! Oh, you're back, thank goodness! It's wonderful to see you, sir.
It's good to see you as well, George. I see you've made the office home.
Oh, sir, I'll have this back to rights in seconds, sir, in seconds. My goodness, sir, while you were away, we had the strangest case. The death of a man whose name was January. Certainly the first person I've ever heard with that name. I had a bit of a mishap here with your typewriter. Some of the keys became stuck and it drew some blood, but...
You can't do it, Murdoch.
I intend to confess my involvement in Constance Gardner's escape, sir.
You can't. It'll ruin me. You know that. I lied for you.
I'll say it was at my insistence.
And how do you think that'll go down, eh? Detective Giles is now Chief Constable. He already doubts my story about the faulty lock. You cast doubts on it, we'll both end up behind bars.
You're forcing me to live a lie, sir.
I saved your bloody job! You made your choice when you let the woman go. I made mine when I saved your skin. The die's cast.
Sir, what will I do?
You want to pay your penance, or whatever it is you Catholic blokes do? Go back to doing what you do best. You're a detective. Be one.